Hey, what's going on? Welcome along to episode 40 of the Strategy and Conversions podcast. Mark, I know I just caught you out by saying episode 40.
You
right?
did. You did.
It's ticking along as always.
Yeah.
I'm Jamie Michael Joseph, and I'm joined by Mark Tanner. And what we do here with this podcast, Mark, is we take a topic, we take something going on in the whole kind of business world, and we look to simplify it. We look to help people. We look to educate them, and we look to help them, move forward within their business.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, so today we're going to talk about giving yourself a boost, right? We're going to talk about making that kind of income, getting that business income that you want within the first quarter of 2022.
Yeah.
So we're recording this is early January. There's plenty of time. I think, we get January, we get New Year's resolutions, we get everyone kind of hits the ground running. Everyone wants it all within the first kind of week, and then it starts to tail off. But by having the right kind of plan in place, by doing the right things, taking the right steps, we can achieve whatever we want, right?
Yeah, and it's interesting just from what you were saying as well, because I know there's a few other people I've spoken to who just say they just can't get into it. They've come away from it's been quite a long break, Christmas break in the UK, certainly. And they just can't, they're now just trying to pick up the pieces, and they're finding it really hard to get going again. So again, I think that's where people also need a boost. But yeah, definitely. I think if you can set your stall in Q1 to really, really make your year look good, then Q1, everything is going to exponentially increase after Q1. It's getting that initial surge of, getting that initial boost, I guess, to really start your business really going well in 2022.
The boost is a good word, and we've both mentioned this, and it's it is a bit of a shameless plug as well, right? It's on our mind, the whole kind of boost thing, because we have just released a training program called the Business Booster, right? And the whole point here is just to take control of a 3-month period. So it's your quarter, and I mean, look, you could be doing this now, and it's the calendar year, it's the first quarter of the year. I mean, look, you could be doing this in the future, and it's your first quarter of the new financial year. Maybe it's your business year, or maybe it's just 3 months from this point that you start, because you know that you just need to make something happen. It isn't fixed on the calendar year, but it makes sense to look at it from that by this time.
I think the other thing is again, the reason why I just mentioned calendar years is because a lot of people also, when they start a new calendar year, they think, I'll get that done, and I'll get that done, and before they know it, January's gone, and also they're into month 2 of Q1, and they haven't actually done anything. And what I want to do is actually get a steal a march and really get into that, so that Q1 becomes a really good quality quarter for people, whatever that time of year is. Yeah,
I think it's interesting, isn't it? Because I know you have some training that you're doing at the minute, and I'm guessing by the time this podcast goes out, it should be available. So maybe we'll link to it as well. But we'll talk about the 5 Gremlins, right?
Yes.
So the whole kind of 5 Gremlins get involved whenever you kind of look at achieving a goal.
Yeah.
And I know you have that saying, don't you? Is that forget about goal setting. Let's look at goal achieving.
Goal achievement. That's right. I mean, everyone setting goals. Everyone's talking about how you set goals and how you can set quality goals. And there's some good stuff out there. There's also a lot of just people jumping on the bandwagon, I think, because it's an easy thing to talk about. But no one really talks about goal achievement. And I think that's what I'm talking about on the 5 Gremlins is, I'm talking about maybe a new methodology to some people about setting a goal, but actually then to really concentrate on achieving that goal, which is where so many people struggle with, because they set the goals and then they never achieve them, and then one of the gremlins kicks in, which says, you can never achieve your goals anyway, so why bother setting them? Which is one of the gremlins I'll talk about.
It's crazy though, isn't it? I think it is funny how people do that. We get to the start of the year, okay, look, these are my New Year's resolutions, these are my goals and stuff like that, and it's like, well, why not start a week before? We've covered this in previous podcasts. It's just like, look, start now, wherever you are, start now. And you get the amount of people as well, like you said, is okay, maybe January didn't start off as as they wanted, and you start to see these memes already that they just like, I've messed up already. 2023 is going to be my year. I can feel it. Let's just wait now till 2023. And it's like, okay, let's just be real for a moment, right? Any kind of goal, we're not going to achieve it unless we kind of set out the right steps. We look at the target, we break it down. I think everything comes to breaking it down.
Oh yeah, it does, because that's, and this is something that again, a lot of people don't quite understand, is don't get attached to the outcome. If once you've broken it down and you know exactly what you need to do, this is the whole point. Just go through the actions. Make sure you do the actions of the plan. You follow the plan as best you can. And take the actions you need day after day, because the outcome will come. The outcome will be there. But if you start thinking straight away on day one, well, my outcome is this, and I want this to happen, and you start focusing on what the result you want, you won't be doing the steps properly. So this is the really good thing about taking that end result, what you actually want, and then breaking it down into that plan and say, okay, what can I do every day to achieve that goal? Because you know that if you take daily consistent action, and that's the whole secret here, isn't it? Consistency. If you take daily consistent action, you will get the result you want. Simple as that.
That's exactly, isn't it? And this is why we put together this business booster program. I mean, we've done it as a 3-month program. And the reason we've done it as a 3-month program is we're giving people the support and everything like that all the way through to actually follow through with it and make it happen, right? But we've put together this training course, and it's 12 modules, and it takes about 5 hours to complete. We've called it the most important 5 hours you'll ever spend on your business, right? The best 5 hours you'll ever spend on your business. And the whole point here is that the reason we say that is there's so many people who get caught up in the whole kind of day-to-day of business, and they're trying to make things happen, and they waste so much time, so much energy, so much money on trying to chase customers, trying to pull people in, trying to fulfill their products or services, their whole kind of attraction and stuff like that. They spend all this time just going around in circles and never moving forward.
Exactly right.
It comes back to planning it out, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's come back to one of the things we said really, really early on, isn't it? You could have been in business in 5 years, but have you been repeating the same business year after year and not making any improvements? Well, this is what we're trying to stop people suffering from, is actually the whole idea of the business booster is that 2022 will be, well, whatever year will be different to the year before and the quarter before. And the whole idea is that you compound on your success. And you build the business that way.
Isn't that? That's the word compound.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't happen overnight.
No.
Everyone wants that, right? Everyone wants to, okay, I set up a business, or I set up a sales page, and I'm going to go to bed now. Tomorrow I wake up and I'm going to have 1,000 customers paying £1,000, and that's it, job done. But it doesn't work that way.
No.
And people get put off, by that.
Yeah.
And then they give up. And there's two parts here. Like, for one of the reasons why it didn't work is that you didn't set it up properly. You haven't worked out the steps. You haven't gone through the whole kind of strategic map and figured out exactly what it is that you're offering and who's coming into it and how you're filling that. And the second part is it happens over time.
Yeah.
Like, there's a great phrase that I love where it says that, Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah.
But they were laying bricks each day.
But they were laying, exactly right. Yeah.
And it's just like, whether it was bricks or whatever it was, they were laying, right? But the whole point is that they were doing something each day.
They were doing something each day.
They had routines, they had action, they kept building, they kept moving forward. And that's the whole point. And look, we created this business booster program to actually support the people in our longer programs, right? So we've got Momentum Builder, where it's a 12-month program. And we look at helping our members there with building sustainable income streams in their business, over time, and growing a business and doing the whole kind of online stuff. And what we've noticed there is, okay, look, people are coming in, they want to look at business growth, they understand that takes time, and they understand that, build solid foundations and build on top of that, but they also want some quick wins.
Yeah,
they want some cash now. They want to make some money. Yeah. And it's like, right, okay, look, let's put together a program that helps them put things in place really quickly from what they already have, already know and stuff like that, to get it to market, to get them, earning more money. So they've already got some sort of product or service that they're looking to offer, and that could be a case of, they could be under a franchise. They could be under the likes of an umbrella company or anything like that. They could be a sole trader. They could be running a business with multiple members of staff. The whole point here is that they have something, not so much proof of concept, but they have something that they sell that they've done before. People, they understand that people are buying it, they're doing it, but they want more of that. They want more customers for that. Well, look, this business booster is exactly what is needed. Because it maps everything out. It basically takes the kind of a bird's eye view of the macro, and then breaks down the micro for the next 3 months. What you need to do to hit your income target.
And we were talking earlier, weren't we? And this is really good, especially if you take on a new member of staff. You've got an existing business that's going well. You just take on a new, salesman or marketing person, whatever. And what you're doing is you're breaking it down for them, so they know what they need to be doing every day. You've created the process and say, okay, every day, this is it. This is your plan. You've got the plan in front of them as well. You can put it there and say, this is what you need to be doing. So straight away, they hit the ground running, because there's no sort of getting their feet under the desk and thinking about, well, how's best to approach this? You say, right, that's what you do. Simple as that. And start with that and see how you go on.
That's such a great example, though, isn't it? Because if you take that, okay, look, a salesperson comes in, right? New company. What they usually do is, here's the training manual, or here's a bit of training. Here's how we do a sales call or something like that. Right? Okay, get on and deal with it. So salespeople, business development people, even marketing people as well. And we did a whole kind of podcast on the kind of issues that the whole kind of digital marketing apprentices face with a company that's just like, right, you're now the marketing person, get on and do it. But do what? What? And that's what happens with the salesperson or the business development side, is that they're kind of left to it. There's usually not a target, or it's like, okay, we bring an X amount of money or leads or something like that, but there's no real reason behind it. There's no mapping behind it. But this whole kind of business booster is perfect, because it creates that map. So we'll take the income goal for the next 12 months, right? We'll break that down into the quarters for what people need. And it may be a case of, they're equal quarters, maybe they kind of jump up and down. But the whole point here is that there's a target for income. And then all the activities basically evolve around that target of income. And we map out processes, we map out what it is we're selling and everything like that. It becomes so much easier.
It does.
You imagine that salesperson or business development person, right? You imagine you kind of sit down and you go, look, here's all our processes. This is how we get our leads. This is how we fulfill on that. This is what we offer. Here's all the breakdown for why people will want it and why it makes it really appealing. And these are your targets for what we want you to do. All of a sudden, that person's going to hit the ground running.
Exactly.
And at the price that whatever you've paid them, you're going to get back, because they're going to easily be able to achieve it.
And the other thing I'll mention as well, this doesn't stop innovation. So, for example, if someone new, let's talk about a new person coming into the business for a moment. If someone comes in new and you say, okay, this is what we do, this is how we get stuff in, and you tell them to, okay, I want you to start following this. If you've got any ideas how to make it better, then great, but don't go off on a tangent to start with. Just follow this. We can review it. And if it needs changing and you're tweaking because you think it'll be better, at a later stage, we can do that. So don't forget any ideas of how you can make it better, but just stick to what's there at the moment. Get used to generating an income, generating that kind of that income to come into business. And then it could be discussion then between them and their manager or whatever to say, okay, I think we can tweak this and we can change this and we can move this. Great. Those discussions can be done at a later stage. So it doesn't stifle any kind of innovation, but what it does do is say, this is the way you can start. And that's the whole point, isn't it? A plan is always a way to start doing something.
I think it's awesome. I think on something we've done, some sort of marketing point, I've kind of looked at it as the instructions and the recipe for making a cake. Right, so it's like, you've got the recipe, you know the ingredients you need and everything like that. Right, and now you're mapping out the instructions. You know what needs to happen after each thing, to end up with the outcome for whatever it is that you're trying to create here. Well, look, if someone knows of an ingredient that is going to make it better, then of course, we want to put that in. But the whole point is that, if that person has no idea, then they have the steps, to follow through it. And everything there, we talk about the steps. Each step is tailored to you. So we're talking about the whole kind of business, like an established business with a new salesperson or business development manager. Well, this comes back to you as well. So if you're just in business on your own, right, it's exactly the same thing. Is that what we want to do is work out the steps for you to follow. I think that this is a big area that a lot of kind of sole traders and small business owners fall down on, is that there is no process in place. They don't know what they're doing from one day to the next. They kind of sit down and it's like, right, what should we do today? I'll put some posts out on social media. And it's like, okay, that could work. Probably not, because there's no attraction process. We're not pulling people in. We're not building a pipeline. We're not showcasing why we're better than anyone else or anything like that. We're not showing why, we're not competing with the competition out there. We actually want to build out our map, our strategic map, for knowing how we pull customers to us, how we attract them.
And a lot of this is, and yes, as you said, a lot of sole traders, because the problem is when you start a business on your own, it's all the vision, everything is in your head. And what you need to do is get it out of your head and onto paper or onto a PC or whatever, and to systemize it so that it's not in your head, so that every day as a person on your own, on your business, of course, you've got to fulfill it. You've got to fulfill loads and loads of different roles. Totally get that. And that is hard work. So it's great if you've got a manual, you pick up, right, I must do this, 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 and this. That's my marketing done. Right, now fulfillment. I must make sure this happens, this happens. That's a fulfillment. If you've got that laid out in processes, it's so much easier for you to follow that plan. And I always advocate to people, learn from the day. Big thing I say, talk about learning from the day. And at the end of the day, you've done something you think that took longer than it should have done, for example, a little piece of that process. Well, why? Think about it. Instead of just thinking, oh, well, that's me done for the day. Why did that take longer than it should have done? What was I doing or not doing that could have made it quicker or more efficient? And each day you can just tweak something, just a tiny bit. And all of a sudden it makes the following day easier. And you can maybe either get more done or finish that task more quickly so you can move on to something else. But the point is, going back to what I said originally, so a lot of people don't do this. It's in their head. You don't improve things when it's in your head, because you can only keep so much in your mind, in your memory. I think it's 5 plus or 2 things or whatever. So that was the general thinking. So if you put it down on paper, you can straight away start seeing, that took me more time, because you won't remember how much time something took you at the end of the day when all the rest of the stuff has come in. You'll just think, oh, well, I did that and I did that. But you forget how inefficient or how time consuming something was that could be improved. You'll just lose it.
I totally agree. And I know we spoke about things before where we spoke about winning the day. So we win the day and we get to move forward. How have we moved forward today? Some days you may not be able to move forward, but either way, whether you won or whether you haven't, look, why? Why is that? You have to know what's happening that day to either make you move forward or why you didn't move forward. And like you said, that whole thing there it comes back to the whole kind of measuring part. Right? Well, how can you measure if you don't know what you're measuring?
Right?
Exactly. You have to have targets in place. You have to know the processes in place to figure out what's going on. And it comes back to, we've given an example on the podcast before from a different angle. And we spoke about how do you know something isn't working within your business? And we said, well, look, if we had a website, for example, and we knew that each day 100 people got to that website, right? But no one actually converted. No one moved through to the next stage, right? But we have a problem with that conversion, whether it's the copy, whether it's the actual product, whatever it is, there's a problem there. But if only 2 people get to that page each day, or no one gets to that page each day, well, then we've got a traffic problem. Right? We get to look at bringing more people to that website, but straight away we get to know where we need to pay attention and what needs focus. But within business, sometimes, we kind of sit back and we go, okay, look, we need more customers. Well, how do we do that? It's not just a simple case of saying we need to market more. It's like, what isn't working where? Is it a case of, okay, we're not getting enough people into our attraction process? Is it a case of, look, people are coming in, people are moving forward, but they're not converting? Why is that? And that whole kind of front end marketing, I think this is where a lot of people kind of make that mistake of, okay, look, we need to market more. We need to let people know about our business. We need to let people know about all the products or services and everything that we do and what makes us so great, right? No one cares.
Yeah.
Right? No one cares. We need to do a bit of that stuff. Don't get me wrong. We need to let people know that we're in business and we're open, and they can come to us when they need us. But really, we need to extract them. We need to grab that attention, and we need to basically pique that intrigue or that desire, so that they move on to the next stage. We extract them into our own infrastructure, our attraction process for acquisition.
Yeah.
But they're into this process now, rather than on the front end always kind of looking at all the kind of competition that's going on out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's another thing there that you just touched on, isn't it? Is that people go out and they market everything they do, and you think, well, hang on a minute, why not just get one thing working well out of all the stuff that they do? So you take one product line or service or whatever, and you get it generating a really good income that you want, and concentrate on making all your processes and plans right for that item. Because again, that's something then you can outsource to somebody. You can take on maybe a member of staff, because you'll get to know how long all those bits take within that whole project. So I mean, for example, in writing is a lot of people say, well, I don't know how long that's going to take to write. I don't know how long that's going to take. You say, well, if you've done it enough times and you've documented how long it took, you have an average time that you think, well, if I need to write a website for somebody, it's a 4-page website, it's roughly going to take me this long, because you've done 4 or 5 and you've documented it. So when you outsource that to somebody and say, right, I'm taking you on as copywriter or whatever, and you say, we need to write this 4-page, roughly this will take this much time. I'm expecting you to have something pretty well completed in this many hours. It may take you a bit longer to start with, because you're just getting new to it. That's where the process comes in. You talk about the process and templating, how they're going to do it maybe. But the whole idea is how long that project is going to take. So if you're paying them by the hour, you straight away got an idea of how much it's going to cost you. And so many things just drop into place, because you've done this little bit of recording, you've done that, this. And it's like putting pieces into a jigsaw. All of a sudden you've got that straight edge in your jigsaw, that exactly from this to this, how long it's going to take, how much it will cost, and how much energy you have to put in as a manager of that process.
Jigsaw is a great way to put it, isn't it? I mean, how it all fits together. That to me, having that process mapped out of that fulfillment, what happens next, what part do we need to get to move to this before we can get someone that outcome. That to me is such a good use of your time.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
It's going to give you the most kind of confidence and courage within your business, that you have that is ready. So that when someone says, okay, look, I want to go ahead with this, what happens next? You can go, we get you to here, we get you to there, we get you to there. Here's the outcome, that you will have at the end of that. We got some great examples within the whole kind of training with that. But so something that you're mentioning now, I mean, even when we kind of go back, I mean, let's go to the whole kind of front end side of that. Before someone even says yes, right? We have to have that attraction process.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
so we have to get someone in.
Yeah.
And the whole kind of part there is, someone looks at that as, okay, marketing. Right. We need to look at our marketing to pull people in. And this is why, we've said it before, everything in marketing works.
Yeah.
Right? Everything in marketing works. But the problem is that you hear so many people talking about why you need a certain thing, right? So okay, look, you need ads. We provide ads, and you need it because X, Y, Z, right? But what you'll always get is, when you ask the question about marketing, you will say, will this work, right? And the answer that always comes back is, it depends.
Yeah.
And the reason why it depends, right, is because it's not a single touch point. It's not a single thing. It can work, right? But it's not always going to work by itself. And it's a case of it being a combination, right? And that combination is your equation. Your equation is that infrastructure that we're talking about. It's putting together the pieces to build out your own kind of infrastructure that is going to work for you. So even if someone doesn't come through yet, we have the steps in place to move them along, to get them to the next step, that they then become a customer. Instead of it just being a case of, right, okay, look, we put an ad in front of someone, that didn't work. Okay, that didn't work, let's move on to something else.
Yeah, I know.
It's a case of, we put that ad in front of someone, they've got to this point. Okay, let's move them on to this point, let's move them on to that point. how many points do we have before they become a customer?
Yeah.
And I'm going to touch on something here, Mike. This is one of those kind of gold moments, right? This is stuff that I'm not even going to lie. I mean, I've charged a lot of money just for this information I'm about to give now, right? So this, for anyone listening to the podcast, right, this is going to give you, the whole kind of real insights, the real benefits, right? This is going to reward you for listening to us, right?
Oh, good.
This is where so many people mess up within getting clients, right? It comes to their front end marketing, and what they do is they market their business, and they say, look, we're in this kind of business, and they might even, come up with some fun stuff that no one cares about and all this kind of stuff, right? And then they turn around and they say, yeah, we offer all these kind of, we offer services for this or that. So just say it was like an SEO company or something like that, they say, we're an SEO company, we can help you with X, Y, Z. The customer then comes through, or the customer goes to the next step, and they then put the basically the options back onto the customer. They give the customer a choice.
Yeah.
Right? And what they do then is they take away that certainty from the customer. The customer has looked at something, they've looked at some piece of marketing, and that intrigue or desire has been there, that they want to take the next step. Now, the next step throughout your whole infrastructure needs to be linked to that one product that the person's seen, rather than it being a case of, okay, we can help you with IT. Let's jump on a call and have a discussion about everything in IT that we can help you with, right? They don't care. If they've seen something about security, they're interested in security. That next step needs to be about security.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as, look, okay, they've looked at something about backup, for example, right? So they want to back up their emails, whatever it is. The next step is about backup. So they always want to be looking at something about backup until they say, yes, I want this product or service about backup. Then you can switch it to, if you're going to get backup, this is actually a good thing to look at as well. You've already got the commitment from the customer. You've given them what they want. You've helped them move through. You've delivered on what they want. They now trust you. They believe in you. You've got their commitment. Either that's their money or they've signed the contract to say, go ahead, whatever it is. Now you can talk about, now you need to look at security as well.
And that's really that's so powerful, because I know we've talked about this before on various podcasts and various trainings as well, is about the relevance to the customer. So that customer, you might be an IT company, that customer doesn't care, they're interested in security. I want my backups to be, maybe I want offline backups, and I want them to be absolutely secure, that no one can hack into them. They don't care about they don't necessarily need to know that you can back up their system every second, as a continual back. They almost don't need to care about that. So, is it secure? And if you can say yes, because this is the way we work with it, and everything is about security, then they think, right, okay, that's brilliant. That's what I want. And if you start going off on a tangent about, we do this, and we mirror onto this hard drive, and we make this happen, and we do this, you've lost them, because they say, I don't care how you do it. Is it secure? And the whole point of the relevance is you can this is absolutely secure because this works and no one can get into it. This is encrypted. This is done that. No one can get into it. That's that. They're happy with that. And it's all about being relevant to what their particular inquiry was. And that's just what you said. Don't go off on a tangent. Stick to what's relevant to them. Once they've signed up and they've then taken you on as a customer, there's a trust there. Then you can say, right, okay, do you want, then you can talk about, we back up every day, but we can do this. We can offer a month, an hourly backup, depending on how many transactions you do. We could, if it's a retail outlet, they may want that. But you don't want to confuse the issue, because like you said, if you sow any kind of choice or any confusion or make them think about something else, there's a very, very high chance that you've lost them. And that's huge in any type of business where I've seen that happen.
I like to look at it as well. Imagine it like Subway, right? The whole kind of sandwich kind of franchise and everything like that, right? We say Subway, but we say sandwich franchise, even though it's the sub, right?
Yeah. I know.
But the whole point there, right, is you walk in, right, and you tell the person what you want, right? So you may ask questions, you may ask them any kind of questions or something like that, but it's relevant to what you're ordering.
Yeah.
Right? You don't walk in and you turn around to someone and you turn around to the person behind the counter at Subway and say, I'm hungry. Can you give me something to eat?
Give me something to eat.
Right? They're going to turn around and be like, okay, well, look, what do you want? Do you want the sub? What do you want in there? Do you want this? And if you ask them, you get this a lot of the time with outsourcers, and that's a different kind of topic that we'll go into, right? But sometimes, you can then get too much confusion, because if you then ask that person, right, I want something to eat, right? And they turn around and they say, well, yeah, okay, look, we've got these subs and we've got all this kind of food here. And we also we can have it hot, you can have it cold, you can have this, you can have that. And you start giving them so much choice. And they're like, I don't know what I want. Or they end up with something that they don't want. And then they start to resent that. Right?
Yeah.
But the whole point here is that if you can go into Subway and you can say, I want this and I want it this way, right? And the person says, yeah, I can make that for you. I'm putting it together. Here you go. Here's your end product. You pay for it. You're happy, right? How many times in Subway do you get your sandwich or whatever it is, right? And then they say, do you want to add a drink?
Yeah.
Do you want to add a cookie? Right. But imagine if you said to them, right, I want this kind of sub, and they went, hang on a minute. Do you know we offer drinks?
Yeah.
We've got a great selection of drinks. I reckon you would want a drink. That person's going to be like, in the end, they're just going to be like, look, I've come here for a sandwich.
I just come
You're trying to sell me a drink. You're trying to sell me nachos. You're trying to sell me some crisps. You're trying to sell me some cheese bites or something like that. I just want a sandwich. And you get to the point where the person gets a bit, cheesed off or whatever it is, right? And then they're just like, forget the sandwich. Going, I'm going to get a burger now.
That's right. Yeah. It can happen. Yeah.
That's the thing. And that's the whole point, is that with our marketing, with that attraction process, is that if we make everything relevant to that one thing that we've been marketing, and look, you can market across, obviously, different products and services that you have and stuff like that. But when someone takes the next step on that one thing, make everything else the main thing. Like make everything else that the main thing is the main thing. That one thing is the main thing all the way through until they have that commitment. Once you have that in place, you will get more customers coming through.
Yeah. Just a quick, very, very quick story. I remember I must have been living under a rock somewhere. I can't remember. But I remember going to Starbucks, the first time I went to Starbucks, I think, and I wanted a coffee. And I looked at their board. I walked out because I just thought, I just want a coffee. And there wasn't a coffee there. There was this, everything else. And I thought, but where's the coffee? And I actually walked out. And I went out to some little cafe somewhere and just ordered a coffee and got a white coffee. And that was complete naivety on my part. But it's just that I was bewildered by all this stuff. I thought, hang on, that's not what coffee. I want coffee. And I didn't even get
example.
I didn't even get to the stage of going to the counter and asking. I just thought, I can't be bothered with that. I just go to a little cafe down the road and just got a coffee.
I think it's funny. I mean, that there, for example, coffee is such a great example, because there was it was over a short period of time that it changed, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if here in the UK it's just that we copied, it copied from the States, and
maybe, yeah.
They were used to it or whatever it was. But I think a lot of people got caught out because it moved into that. All of a sudden it's Americano, it's espresso, it's flat white, and all the latte, and people are just like, just want a white coffee, or just want a black coffee. What is that?
What is that?
And put yourself that way in your customer's shoes, your client's shoes, right? Is that when they're looking at something, they're not educated. They don't have that same level of sophistication that you have. That level of experience, whatever it is within your industry, they don't know. So what they're looking for is something really simple, that if they have an idea of something that they want to take the next step. If you start confusing them, they then get put off because they don't know what to do next.
That's right.
Help them with that decision that they're making, and then educate them on what they may need.
Yeah. And again, going back to the Starbucks, I think it's Starbucks, but now you see it as an explanation. So when they talk about Americano, they actually tell you exactly what it is. So if it's an idiot like me, I can walk in and say, Americano, oh, right, it's that, oh, fine, yeah. But there was no explanation before. And I think that is such a problem that many, many businesses fall into, is that they know their stuff inside out because that's your skill set. Don't assume that the customer does and your prospect does. Their prospect just wants security. He wants something secure. He's not interested about mirror imaging, disk drives, and all this kind of. That's just far too much. Just, is it secure? That's all they're interested in, And I think that's one thing we can get. We can give out options that aren't in plain English, and I know that I just recently was been writing a lot of doing some web work for a bunch of IFAs, simply because they knew their website was just IFA speak, and the public were a bit lost on some of the stuff they were talking about, and so we just put it into plain English for them and did the job. And people understood what, so someone who's totally unknown in the investment world but has got some cash to invest could understand what they needed to do, as opposed to they could go on to SIPs, or they could go on to bonds, they could do this and they could do that. And you think, whoa, hang on, what on earth is all that stuff?
It's a great example, isn't it? It's like, IFA, they know their stuff, right? They know what's going to be really good for you.
And
once they can understand, what exactly it is that you need. But to get to that point, for the customer to give them the time, it has to be simple for the customer to take the next step. And they don't want to be overwhelmed. And we talk about this within the section within the Business Booster program about your offering. And what we say here is that we need to break things down to make it simple. But we also need to look at the process in there, because what happens there is the customer will look at what it is you're saying that you can do, and it starts to look unbelievable. It starts to look at such a big jump. They're at a problem stage. They need to move to a solution stage, and that gap is so big. They're just like, I can't take this jump because I'm never going to get to that end part. But if you can show them the different stages of the bridge,
the steps,
they start to understand the steps that they need to go through, or the steps that you will provide to help them get there. And I think before we give any more away within this whole kind of training and everything like that, we'll look to wrap up this episode. But what we will say is that this Business Booster training is available right now. It's over, it's a 3-month period. You can pay monthly. You get a discount for paying it up front as well. But the whole point here is that you create your strategic map for your next quarter, right? So it's tailored to you. You have the steps in place to move towards the goal that you want for that 3-month period, that quarter. Your income goal, we break it down for how you get towards it. And obviously you're going to look at how that is achievable. So you look at your business strategy, your client acquisition process. This then helps you develop your marketing plan, which altogether is your strategic map. Right, it's going to get you to where you want to be. It's all available there. There's 2 options as well. A bit of like a do-it-yourself, and if you want the input from us as well, then there's another option there. But to me, this is one of those no-brainer things. It's like so many people are just like, I've got this goal, I want to achieve it, I don't know how. That phrase, isn't it? Of look, I know what to do, so why aren't I doing it?
Yeah, exactly.
It is that thing. It's like, do you know why? Is that there's no instructions, there's no steps, it's not broken down. It's time to break it down, right? And that's what we do with this training with you. So that's it from me. Mark, I don't know if you want to wrap things up with sort of like a big takeaway from
I think the big takeaway is just make it easy for yourself. Plan it. Know what steps you've got to take on a daily basis. And that's exactly what we do with the booster. So we break it all down into the steps. And it's simple as that. You just follow the actions every day.
It is that simple though, isn't it? You just follow the steps. Follow the steps to get to that end destination.
Look,
we'll wrap things up there. As always, Mark, it's been a pleasure.
It has. Thanks everybody. Thank you very much for watching, and thanks Jamie.
And we'll catch you next week.
Okay. Bye everybody.
Bye.
Cheers.